I met this young Nepali lady.
The world could learn about Nepali people, and I think that's very important.
Safalta Talkies every Thursday at 7 p.m. only on Radio Safalta 103.4. Insight on different subjects with different guests.
I'm a teacher from Chicago and I love to mountain bike. So I love coming to Nepal and traveling all over the world and riding mountain bikes wherever I can.
Safalta Talkies, the only global outreach program. Good evening, everyone. This is Radio Safalta 103.4, and I'm your own host, Santosh Bandari. You are listening to Safalta Talkies on Radio Safalta 103.4. You can listen to Safalta Talkies from our official website, radiosafalta.com. We also have an official Facebook page on the same name. On top of that, we have a mobile application, Radio Safalta. You can download the application from the Play Store or App Store and listen to us from all around the globe. We basically talk with the foreigners who have different kind of expertise on their field. On that note, today we have John from United States of America, and he has been associated with an organization called Peace Corps. So we'll get to know what Peace Corps is, what he really does in Nepal, a lot of plethora of things that we are going to talk to him. So first of all, I'd like to welcome him on our show. Yes, John. I just want to welcome on our show, and thanks for the time.
Yeah, thank you, Santosh. It's good to be here with you today.
So how are you, man? What's up?
I'm doing great. It's a beautiful time of year. The weather's perfect.
It's not that hot. It's not that cold.
Not too cold. So sunshine. Things are flowering.
I must say you are enjoying the weather, huh?
I love it. Yep. Enjoying the weather, enjoying the people, enjoying the place. It's a beautiful time in a beautiful country.
So you must be finding your stay very good here.
Well, I've been here 2 years, and I'm trying to stay another year. So yeah, I'm having a good time. Or else, yeah,
that's good. That's so we, me personally, and our listeners would like to know what Peace Corps is, because as I read, Peace Corps, it's helping in Nepal for a long period of time, and you as a group are doing very good things. So can you put some light on what Peace Corps is?
Sure, yeah. So Peace Corps is a organization funded by the U.S. government. It's through the State Department. It was started in 1961 by John F. Kennedy. And it's basically a program that takes voluntary service from citizens from the United States, places them in countries that are interested in various programs around the world. So there's health, agriculture, education, and volunteers serve for 2 years living at the local level, meaning living in villages, communities, and countries across the world, learning the language of the local people, learning the culture of the local people, integrating into the communities of these local people. And the mission of the United States Peace Corps is to promote world peace and friendship. Sounds like a simple thing.
But yet, it's a thought-provoking sense you're talking about, man.
Yeah.
It's a very good thing. So, you are only the one, or there is a group, or how does it work?
Every year there's thousands of applicants, just from citizens from the United States that apply to different programs, in 60 countries. Peace Corps is working in 60 countries across the world.
60 countries?
60, yeah.
It's all, it's a
more or less.
Yeah.
60 countries across the world. You apply with whatever your certain expertise is. So if you're, in agriculture, somebody interested in agriculture, somebody interested in education, you apply for that particular field or a particular country. So in Nepal right now, we just started an education program, but it's an agriculture program with a beginning and English education program, and we have 70 volunteers right now.
70 volunteers? Only for Nepal?
Just for Nepal, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. And we'll all be here 2 years. I'm approaching the end of my 2 years and looking to
So how long has it been you're here in Nepal?
I came in April of 2017. So coming up on the 2-year mark.
So what, are you going to extend here, or after the completion are you going back to your place?
I would like to extend. We'll see what happens.
But it's a process, right?
It is a process to get the visa extension, but I'm confident that I'll be around here another year.
So you have an office kind of, or?
No, I live in a village. I live in a small village and work with the farmers there on improved agriculture techniques, teaching the people on different kinds of crops, soil improvement technologies, and we have a small office in Pokhara. But no, I do my work and live my life in village.
So it's directly connected with the field.
It's directly connected with the field, yeah.
Okay, so as you told, there are a lot of sectors that Peace Corps is working with, like health, agriculture, education.
Around the world, a lot of different sectors.
So what sector are you associated with here?
I'm in the agriculture sector here, yeah.
Can you talk something about it? What kind of agriculture? Where?
So the program in Nepal is food security, focusing on health and nutrition. So the key components of that are teaching farmers on soil conservation and improvement, teaching farmers about fruit tree cultivation, teaching farmers about biointensive gardening, permaculture gardening practices, and health and nutrition education. Yeah.
So you used to be agriculturist in America, or used to do some agriculture, or how did you end up doing here?
How did I end up doing it? That was a good question. I've been a student of agriculture my whole life, but I mean, in the United States, we're not really farmers anymore.
Yeah.
So my parents weren't farmers. I didn't grow up in it. I didn't study it in school. I've been growing plants my whole life, but I've been farming about 5 years, so I'm still learning too. And I mostly came to learn. I wanted to live in Nepal because I know the majority of people here still farm. Their families have always farmed.
We are an agricultural country.
It's an agricultural country, so I wanted to learn from the Nepali people, and I learn so much every day. But I've been studying. My background is mostly in fruit trees, and I found a lot of interest in my community working with fruit trees. So. Yeah.
So are you finding it very helpful? Are the people
way?
finding it helpful?
The people are finding it very helpful, yeah. I mean, like I said, I came to learn, but people are asking me for more help than I would have anticipated, which is a good thing. I'm definitely busy. I'm not bored here.
It sure is, because it was hard to catch up with you and bring you to my station for the short talk, yeah? And it was my pleasure to find you here. So, do the Peace Corps only focus on the developing countries, or how does it work?
Yeah, Peace Corps. So it's the government of the United States and the government of interested countries. Interested countries apply to Peace Corps, request for a certain program. We want to have volunteers to help us on education or on health or on agriculture. So it's mostly what we would call developing countries. There's also some countries in Eastern Europe, but it's mostly Africa, South America, a few countries in Southeast Asia. Yeah, what we would call developing countries.
Okay, so you work with the government or you work with NGOs. How do you get connected? How do you come to departments? Do you first try to find the needs of the people here and you work on that, or? Yeah,
so Peace Corps collaborates with the Nepali government and determines areas of need, both geographically, what communities, what districts in Nepal would be interested in having volunteers, and goes in and does assessments of those communities and makes sure that there is a need and an interest among that community. And then when a volunteer gets to this community, they are also doing a similar process of meeting with the community from a grassroots level, the community leaders there, determining what the needs are of that community. And it's a collaborative process of deciding what the community needs are, what their priorities are, and how that particular volunteer can bring their skills and abilities to meet the needs and interests of that community. Yeah. Okay,
so how your skills and techniques can be helpful for the local people.
Yeah, and it looks different for every individual volunteer and every individual community.
Oh, that's a good point here. Yeah. So, where are you put up now? Like in Nepal, how did you choose the place? Pokhara or different place? Where are you stationed?
No, so I don't choose a place. Peace Corps, in collaboration with the Nepali government, as I said, they determine what community has need, and they send a volunteer to a particular community. So we live and serve in that one community for the entirety of our 2-year term of voluntary service.
So where are you personally located? Which part of Pokhara or which part of the place?
I can't tell you that, but I get around. Yeah, I live in a beautiful community, beautiful Nepali people on a wonderful hill. Yeah, in the middle of Nepal.
Okay, so wherever it may be, I hope you're finding it good here.
Yeah,
and most of all, people of the place are finding it good.
Yeah,
because your presence is making a lot of difference, I guess.
I hope so. Yeah, I hope so, and I believe so. It takes time, it's been 2 years, but just getting to know each other, building those relationships, and figuring out how we can help each other. It takes time, but I think beautiful things are coming to fruition.
That's true. And I was very intrigued by one thing. I found a lot of Peace Corps volunteers who know the local language properly. So is it mandatory to learn the local language, or do you learn it for the sake of convenience of the communication? How is it?
It's mandatory to learn the national language. So
of the place that you're working for.
All Peace Corps volunteers, wherever they're placed, learn the national language of the country. And so
how long do you learn the language? How is the process?
For all Peace Corps volunteers worldwide, we come in. First 3 months is language training. 3 months. Every day we have 5 hours of classes.
Before going to the field?
Before being placed in our communities, because how can you live, work, celebrate with the local community if you don't speak the language? So I speak Nepali, and I live in a Mugger community. So Mugger is something that I'm trying to pick up on the side on my own. But yeah.
I wish you luck, man. I wish you luck on that case also.
Yeah.
So when you know the language, it'll be easier for you to communicate. And not only that, you can know the problems, issues.
Exactly.
And you can help. On top of that, you can help also.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the Peace Corps.
Because sometimes language has become the barrier in a lot of places.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate what the Peace Corps process is.
Yeah.
First, learn the language
before
placing to some communities.
Yeah.
Well, I really appreciate that.
I appreciate it too.
So let's talk about, as you are doing agriculture, Mr. John, I just want to talk thing about the agriculture. So how did you find the condition of agriculture here in Nepal? More specifically, the place where you work. How is the condition of agriculture? You can talk about as a country as a whole, because you have visited many places, and you are also in a community.
Right.
Yes. Yeah. How did you find?
I mean, I think it's amazing how integrated agriculture still is to the life of people here in Nepal compared to the United States. We're so separated from agriculture. Our food comes from, the grocery store, and there's still agriculture in the United States, but it's so highly mechanized. Most people don't see it even anymore. Don't live around it. Maybe the challenge that I faced here is the condition of the soil, because people have been farming, for hundreds, if not thousands of years, these same pieces of land.
True.
The soil is very degraded, so the production is very low, and people have to work very hard to get relatively small production out of a lot of land. And the fact that they're managing all of this land by hand, without mechanization, means an incredible amount of work. And, with the changing social dynamics of the country, where people are going to other countries to make an income because they can no longer make money off of agriculture, there's not the labor force available to sustain that kind of agriculture anymore. So people are slowly abandoning this kind of, mokai, dan, rice, corn, kodo, the predominant form of agriculture in my community. Is slowly being abandoned as the labor force is no longer available to sustain it. So production is declining. That traditional life way is disappearing, but it's still, in the village, it's still,
it's a lifestyle.
It's the daily lifestyle of
and
people.
They just can't ignore the thing also.
Right. Yeah. So people in my community, at least, and I think in a lot of places in Nepal, they're very aware of this reality, that things are changing, that this is their life and it is their lifestyle, but the future is probably not going to look like that things have changed. People tell me that, the harvests of rice or wheat or siltung, the different kinds of beans they grow, they're not what it was in the past, decreasing yields. They see this. So they know that there needs to be some kind of change, that the change is happening one way or another, and that they need to consciously change their farming practices.
Because they've been doing the same kind of traditional kind of farming here in Nepal.
Yeah, more or less. I think that the introduction of chemical fertilizers and chemical agriculture has also had an impact there. There have been some changes in the past few decades that might have affected all of this, but yeah, the changes in, I guess, the global economic system are significant, and for the people of Nepal, the farmers of Nepal, to adapt to this reality calls them to some really big changes, some big challenges.
We call ourselves agriculture-based country, and in spite of, if we are agriculture-based countries, in spite of importing, we should be in a stage where we export things, right?
I guess that's a matter of debate, but I don't think it's ideal that Nepal is importing the quantity of food that it is right now. From a food security standpoint, that's never a good idea.
That's not a good idea, but still we are importing a lot of vegetables from India.
Yeah.
See, rice, you see pulses.
Yeah.
Let's say soya bean.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If you see, a lot of vegetables that we can grow ourselves are being imported.
Yeah.
And what I think is, we must be in a position where we could export these things.
Absolutely. I mean, certainly if Nepal wanted to be an export country, the climate here is amazing. You can grow anything. You're right, from the Terai to the Himalayas, you can grow every kind of crop, fruit tree that you can imagine can be grown in Nepal. So the potential productivity of this country is incredible.
Yes.
But it's not.
It's not recognized. I don't
It's
really
not
know.
being realized. Yeah.
It's not realized. Also, it's not. And for this province 4 and more of the Kaska district, this has been recognized by the government as a super zone for the vegetables.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, the experts have recognized this area as a vegetable super zone.
Production zone.
Yeah, and they have been providing donations on subsidy, and likewise.
Yeah.
But still, we don't have that productivity that we really want to. I don't know what's missing. What's missing? Something must be missing. And as I want to add on you, there are no manpower, available manpower.
Right.
They are doing on the traditional basis, right? So let's talk about what kind of agriculture are you interested in? Means kind of you are in fruits or vegetables, or
Yeah, as I said, my background is in fruit trees. So when I got into my community, I definitely noticed there's not a lot of fruit being grown there. Some guavas, semi-wild guavas. A lot of
that was there for thousands of years, right?
Yeah, but compared to we're in the subtropics. Like I said, the climate here is incredible. You can grow such an incredible diversity of fruit trees. Very few being grown, and very few being consumed by the local people. So from a nutrition standpoint as well as a production standpoint, there's a big opportunity there. So I've been really focusing on fruit trees in the community, and I think also from the labor standpoint that we've been talking about, it makes a lot of sense because fruit tree production requires a lot less annual labor than vegetable production.
Vegetables, yes.
Vegetable production or grain production like rice and dal. So with the changing social dynamics of Nepal and the underutilized opportunities of fruit tree production, that's been our focus, and I've found that people are really receptive to that. They like the idea of growing fruit trees.
So what types of fruits are you growing? Or what are vegetables?
I'm just trying out a bunch of different things and seeing what works, But for example, people, when I got into my community, have never heard of an avocado, never heard of a macadamia, and they're growing things like mangoes and guavas and suntala, but it's all from seed. So improved varieties, named varieties have a lot more production potential, a lot higher quality. So teaching people things about grafting, air layering, different ways of propagating these fruit trees to get better yields and better quality fruits. Yeah.
Okay, so you just talked about avocados. It's a new fruit here in Nepal. Let's share something with you on my personal basis that I am also an avocado farmer. Like I've planted 300 avocados somewhere near the vicinity of the Pokhara.
Great.
And when I did, there were hardly I found people who were into avocados. Now there are a lot of people into avocados. I don't know why, and because it's a fruit, it's a unique fruit for Nepal, right? And as you have grown avocado, let's hear something about what really is grafting.
Grafting is a way of propagating fruit trees vegetatively. Yeah, it's basically a kind of cloning. So grafting is where you take a improved variety, of tree and have a seedling stock, and you connect the two vegetatively. And
the scion from the
scion. I'm trying to explain this without technical terms, but scion is the branch that you use from an improved variety of tree. So Hass avocado, for example, maybe people have heard of Hass avocado, is worldwide the most famous kind of avocado. But if you grow a Hass avocado from seed, it won't fruit like a Hass avocado. So to get the fruit of a Hass avocado, you have to take a cutting from a Hass avocado tree and then connect that. You cut the branch off and then connect it to a seedling tree, and the tree heals itself, sees that Hass avocado branch as if it was a part of its own tree, heals itself, and then grows as a Hass avocado again.
Have you tried any grafting?
We've done some grafting on peach trees, plum trees, in our community, and had a little bit of success, and so we're just starting to experiment with the avocado grafting now. But it's not being done in Nepal, and up until this point, there's a very few number of private individuals that have been experimenting with avocado grafting. All of the avocado production has been by seed, so there's a huge potential for grafted avocado trees, and that's really what Nepal would have to do if it did want to get into the export market, because the quality of avocados from seed is extremely unpredictable. You don't know whether the tree is going to fruit well, both quantity or quality. How will the production be? It changes, I guess,
with the cross-pollination.
Yes, because of pollination. Fruit trees, we say, don't come true from seed. Vegetables, you plant, a seed and from a vegetable, and the resulting vegetable will be pretty much the same as the parent. Have the same production, same quality, same taste. Fruit trees are not like that. So that is why we have to graft to get the characteristics we want, the quality, the quantity of production that we want from a fruit tree. I
also got all my seedlings from the seed. So as I studied a lot, so I also found that grafting is the most important thing.
Yeah.
As because if you plant from the seed, it may take a whole lot of time.
Yeah, but it takes longer.
And when you graft, there is a certain time where the fruit start to fruit.
Right, yeah.
If the cross-pollination happens properly.
Right, yeah.
And for that, bees are always there, right?
Right, yeah.
So it's a very good thing that you are trying here. I would like to, work with you someday on avocado, John.
That'd be great. Let's collaborate.
It'll be my pleasure to learn so many things from you.
I'm learning too, so let's learn together.
It's a two-way process.
It always is.
Let that be a two-way process. Because as you have explained about avocados, I'm just adding few things because I'm also a farmer who's planting avocados. I have leased 25 rupees of land here. Right. It's like 1 hectare.
Okay.
1 hectare is like 19 point something rupees. So let's say it's more than 1 hectare. So it's used land. I've rented it, and I've tried avocados there. And meantime, also, when the avocados become 10 feet tall, I'm also planning to, plant a coffee So let's see. All these are in the process, in the pipeline. We'll talk about it later.
That's thinking ahead for sure. Yeah, I mean, even growing from seed is still totally worthwhile. There's just not much production of avocado happening in Nepal, period, whether it's seed or grafted out avocado. So seed is where you start, growing seedling trees.
Yeah.
And then if we can figure out grafting, that would just be icing on the cake. That would improve production, improve the income that farmers could make off these trees.
Because a lot of people are very much aware about avocado these days.
It's growing. Worldwide. It's the fastest growing demand of any fruit.
It's a super fruit.
Yeah, it's
I
super
read
fruit,
it somewhere.
Extremely healthy. Of all fruit trees, it has the most energy, caloric energy. Very high in healthy fats and proteins.
Do you know what it's called in Nepali?
Gyufal, I know.
Gyufal, yes.
Yeah.
True.
Because it tastes just like butter.
That's a jackpot. That's a nice. So, people, you are listening to Radio Safalta 103.4. We are talking with John from Peace Corps and remaining under so many subjects here. Basically, the agriculture aspect of what he is doing here. So, what do you think that, or how do you think that we can improve the agriculture condition of Nepal here? As you have seen, we are not able to produce as much labor we are put into.
Mm-hmm.
So, is there a need of mechanization, do you have to say? Or improved skills, techniques?
I think mechanization has a role to play, certainly. I think the geography of Nepal makes it challenging.
Of course.
And the decentralization of Nepal, the culture of Nepal also makes it challenging. And there are certain aspects of the culture of Nepal. I mean, I'm just learning, a student of all of these things, so I can't say with certainty, but I have a hard time envisioning mechanization in the mid-hills and certainly towards the Himalayan region of Nepal really playing a huge role in the agriculture of Nepal. So in the Terai, certainly it seems like mechanization can work, has a lot of benefits and is happening. But the geography and the cultural limitations of the mid-hills and Himalayas makes that challenging. And so, working where we can with mechanization, I think let's acknowledge the limitations and explore creatively, what are the other opportunities outside of mechanization that we can work with in Nepal. So that's where my interest in perennial agriculture, working with fruit trees, working with perennial vegetables. Nepal has a lot of land, and this would all be forest if people weren't clearing it to grow corn, weren't clearing it to grow rice or millet. This would all be forest. It's high rainfall area, incredibly productive. So, with the labor shortage, with the climatic conditions, with the challenges of the topography to mechanization, let's see what we can explore with working with trees to provide, food, income, agriculture in Nepal.
The government also is providing lots of techniques for mechanization. Like, let's say they used to plow their field with the plow, but these days they are using tractors.
Right.
Small tractors.
Yeah.
But the problem is they may not know how to operate it. That has also become a problem.
Yeah, that's a problem. And the main fertility management practices of the Nepali people is the manure from the animals, which are also the draft animals. So then if you bring in, tractors to plow the fields and you get rid of the animals, then where is your fertility coming from? Now you have to be buying, manure or compost or something to add to the fields. Which is another input, another cost, and you're shipping all of those things around. So there's a lot of challenges with mechanization too.
So it increase the cost of the product also.
You increase the cost of the product. You increase the farmers' dependence on outside resources. With the animal agriculture that they have now, it's kind of a beautiful closed loop system where you get your milk from the animals, which supply the manure that maintains the fertility of the fields, and mechanization would change all of that and change a lot of the cultural aspects as well. Animal agriculture is a huge part of the culture of Nepal.
So let's talk about the soil. Do you find the soil good, or is it deteriorating, or?
I think it has deteriorated. I mean, I've only been here 2 years, and I mean, compared to what I see in the United States, the soil conditions are very poor, similar to what, the desert areas of the United States. Just very low in organic matter. When it dries out this time of year, it becomes very hard, has no water retention capacity, and in the rainy season, the water infiltration rate is very low. And you have a lot of disease problems because the organic matter doesn't give the soil a chance to breathe. You have no oxygen, so disease is a big problem. Micronutrients are washed away in the huge rain events of the monsoon. Organic matter is washed away with all
leaching.
It's all leaching away, and then chemical fertilizers just exacerbate the problem, burning off the organic matter. So the soil conditions have deteriorated a lot, I think, and asking local people.
How can we improve the quality of the soil, John? How do you think?
That's a complex issue, and a lot of people. There's a lot of different ways.
Because when they do traditionally, they do farming traditionally,
right,
they hardly or rarely they go to the lab and check the soil.
Yeah,
I don't really think so. Because
and even if you go to the lab and check the soil, the recommendations are all for chemical fertilizer applications. Which once again, you're buying an outside resource at the cost to the farmer. And long term, maybe there's some short term benefits to that, but long term, is that really going to solve the problem? I don't think so. So really, there's a lot of different ways you can go about to improve the soil, but it all comes down to increasing the organic matter content of the soil. And in the past, like I said, people did this through animal agriculture, through the bison, the water buffalo, the cows that they used to plow the fields, the goats, But because people don't have the labor anymore to feed all of these animals, there are fewer animals, and so less manure to go around, to fertilize the fields. So if we're not getting it from animal agriculture, where do we get this organic matter to replenish the fertility of the soils of Nepal? That's the big challenge. And right now, what I'm exploring in my community that I see the most potential in is the concept of green manure, or we call cover cropping, which is using different kinds of plants, like nitrogen-fixing legumes, beans, peas, clovers, things like that fix nitrogen, which is a major nutrient for plant growth, and they fix it from the atmosphere into the soil and improve soil conditions, improve the structure of the soil, and improve the organic matter content. And you can do all of this with a handful of seed, as opposed to carrying down a heavy doko full of manure from an animal shed. So finding the opportunities to integrate this into the cropping cycles of Nepal is the challenge. But I think if we can figure out, the plants, the different kinds of cover cropping plants that can do this work for us, let the biology do the work. Because of the human labor shortage, let the biology do the work. Nature, wants to be a fertile, productive system if we just let it. So if we can find a way to work with these natural systems, work with the climate and conditions of Nepal, I think the soils will take care of themselves if we just kind of get with the program.
That's good. So if we see it rains here a lot compared to the other parts, is rain also playing a role?
Absolutely. Yeah, rain is playing a role. Big rain events, incredible amount of rain can fall in a very short period, and I've read that it takes hundreds of years, up to 1,000 years, to form an inch of topsoil, and with if that soil is bare, uncovered, that same inch of topsoil can be carried away in a extreme rainfall event. So the rains here can be incredibly damaging, and Nepali farmers, generally leave the soil bare in the empty cropping periods. They don't mulch the soil, so it's exposed to these high rainfall events. It's exposed to the sun, and this all contributes to the deterioration of soil quality in Nepal.
That's sad but true, man.
Yeah.
But according to you, if we can improve the quality of the soil, then that'll be helpful for the farmers.
It all starts with the soil. That's the foundation of everything. Whatever you're growing, vegetables, grains, or fruit trees. Your plants are the health of the plants, the productivity of your crop is only going to be as good as the quality of your soil.
So there's a shift, in the farming, saying organic farming,
Right.
So how useful or how advantageous or how practical can organic farming here in Nepal can be?
I mean, organic farming is a concept, but it's the way that nature has worked since since the beginning. This non-organic farming, conventional farming, industrial farming, conventional farming, whatever you want to call it, very new concept. This is not how it's worked. And I think this is why part of the reason why we've seen big changes, big declines in productivity. So organic farming, it's more of a shift in mindset and the way we think than anything else, because it's the way things work.
Because these are people, they really want to eat healthy, right? Be healthy, and what they have in mind is like, if it's organic, it's healthy. Of course, but there's no such measurement where we can measure the percentage of the organicness. I don't really think so. And you can, if the people of the area they don't know, you can tell it as organic and sell it at a high price.
Right.
And still people are buying.
Yeah.
So I don't really think it's making a sense. If you are doing organic farming, there are a whole lot of things that you need to take care into. Don't you think so?
Absolutely. And, I think that the government of Nepal is starting to realize this, and there needs to be some kind of, like in the United States, there's certification system.
Exactly,
that farmers
I'm talking
have to
about,
go through,
yeah.
so that people that are buying the food produced can have confidence that the word organic actually means something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They should have that thing in mind that, okay, I'm paying high price just to make sure it's organic.
Yeah.
There's no any chemicals, pesticides, right?
Right.
No chemical fertilizers used.
Yeah.
Because these days everyone is talking about organic farming,
Right.
And I don't really know, because for a place to be organic farming, the other people should practice that too.
Mm-hmm.
If you're practicing non-organic and I'm practicing organic, I don't think I'm doing organic in a total way.
Right. Yeah. But Santos, one of my big inspirations in agriculture, Masanobu Fukuoka, a Japanese rice farmer with a cropping system very similar to what the system in Nepal is.
Mm-hmm.
He was so angry at the idea that he was an organic farmer. He also farmed oranges. He was so angry at the idea that the products from his farm, that the oranges from his farm should cost more than to somebody buying the produce, should cost more than the product of a farm that's grown with pesticides, because he's not buying the chemicals, he's not buying the chemical fertilizer, he's not buying the chemical pesticide. It should be a cheaper way for a farmer to work, but it's only because the governments of these big countries are subsidizing, giving money to the chemical producers, giving money to the farmers to subsidize this chemical form of agriculture as the way we feed this world. It's not a fair playing field. It's not an even playing field. And if it was, this would be, like I said, this is the way that nature works, organic farming. It should be the cheapest, the easiest way to farm, because we don't have to buy all of these inputs, these pesticides, these poisons, these fertilizers to apply to our fields. It should be the easiest way, the less labor intensive way, and the cheapest for the farmer as well as the cheapest for the buyer.
And Nepal, as a country of farming so many things, we are not trying so many things here. We know, but we don't try. Mm-hmm. Because I heard a lot of complaints from the farmers that the seeds that are provided to them are out of quality.
Mm-hmm.
That also makes sense, I guess.
I've experienced that as well, yeah. Mm-hmm. Unpredictable germination rates, unpredictable, seeds don't come true. There's a lot of variance, and the different kinds of seeds come from the same packet. Yeah, that's a problem. It's
very surprising that government had provided so many subsidies these days.
Mm-hmm.
Still, the productivity is not increasing.
Yeah,
and that's very ironic.
Well, corruption is a big problem all over the world.
Over the world.
Yeah.
That's very true. That's very true. And if I want to give you some data, last year we were having fruits only of $2 billion a year, man. Vegetable 6 billion. See, the import totally farm products that were imported were 127.51 billion. See, such is the import rate.
Yeah.
That's very surprising rate.
Yeah.
And we call ourselves agriculture country.
Yeah.
That's very ironic again. So, no, what I mean to say is like we need to do a lot of things here.
Yeah.
A lot of things, not just for the profit, but as a whole, being in tune with the nature. Because we are also a part of ecosystem. We are also a part of nature, right? If we don't take care of them, how the hell are they going to take care of us?
Right. Yeah. People in village, I think, recognize this. They see that, for example, the soils in the forest, that haven't been being farmed, that haven't been being cut down, the soils of the forest are incredibly healthy. And when they take the soils from the forest and use that to germinate their seeds, to grow out their tomato seedlings or cabbage seedlings, they don't see disease problems. The seedlings do very well. So people intuitively understand that these natural processes are the way that plants want to grow, that nature works, and they want to see their communities be healthy, be productive, be happy. So, yeah.
So, wherever you're working, let that be a secret. But wherever you're working, are you doing it in an organic way, or using chemical fertilizers, or according to the needs or conditions of the climate?
I don't personally work with any chemical agriculture, pesticides, fertilizers, and Peace Corps promotes, using locally available resources. So those things are not being produced in the village where I live, so why would we rely on that for the agriculture that we're working with? So if a farmer wants to do that, that's great, and we'll still work with those farmers, but also be teaching people alternatives for organic approaches to meet those same needs and challenges.
So you think there are a lot of things to be done, and if it's done properly, we can get that expected results.
Absolutely. I mean, things have changed very quickly in Nepal. The statistics you cited about the export-import imbalance of Nepal, that hasn't always been the case. That's really only been the past 50 or 60 years. So things have changed very quickly, and they can change very quickly again.
So when you are in the field, what aspect of the agriculture do you teach? From the seeding to the fruiting as a whole, or the manures, or the seeds, or the fertilizers? How do you go? Let's say if you are planting an avocado, how do you teach them? Like,
I work with farmers on whatever their interest is, and the things that they want to learn about, where their capabilities are, where their interests are. So with certain farmers, I work on nursery production, starting from seeds. With other farmers, I work on planting out seedlings if they're not interested in nursery production. With other farmers, I work on just soil management practices. With other farmers, just vegetable gardening. So it depends on the farmer's interest. I try to meet them with where their needs and interests are, and if it's something that I don't have experience in, I try to find somebody else who does have knowledge about that thing and bring them in to help do trainings.
Pretty sure. So we've talked a lot of things about avocados and agriculture, John. Well, I just want to talk on some personal basis because we're coming to the end of our talk show. So, how do you like the people, or how do you like the food? Can you share your experience on that?
I mean, I love Nepal. It's a wild adventure. The food is great. The food is delicious.
What part of the food do you like? Means, what kind of food do you like? Is it regular that food?
And dal bhat every day, twice a day. Dal bhat power 24 hour. I mean, yeah. So we live in our communities and live and eat like a Nepali person. So dal bhat is compared to the United States. We don't have a dish that we eat twice a day every day. So it can be repetitive, but just the diversity of flavors, the different kinds of vegetables that people use, the different kinds of dals that people use, the different kinds of spices.
Yeah.
You know, there's every dal bhat is different, and there's something comforting about, you know, the routine, the familiarity of dal bhat. You know, the word for rice and food is the same in the Nepali language. So there's something comforting about the consistency and exciting about the diversity of flavors.
So shall I say you're feeling comfortable here?
Oh, I'm happy, so happy here. Yeah, comfortable.
So is it like a home away from home?
I think it is home. It is just home at this point. Yeah, I love my family here as much as my family in the United States, and it's, you know, here is home as much as the United States is home.
Which part of United States which state do you belong to?
I'm from North Carolina. Yeah, it's in the southeast, and I'm from the mountains of North Carolina, which is similar to what we'd call the Pahad, the hills, the mid hills of Nepal.
Do agriculture farming a little bit?
There's still a lot of farming going on there. Yeah.
What do they grow? What's good?
We actually have a lot of pigs and pig production for meat in North Carolina. Pork, yeah, we have a lot of pork. Barbecue is famous there. A lot of people have dairy cows and meat cows as well. And not a lot of grain agriculture, still some corn. But most of the small-scale farmers are growing, you know, vegetables, salad greens, tomatoes, some fruit, a little bit of fruit production. Yeah. It's pretty diverse. All the big farms are in the central part of the United States. That's where all of the big, you know, wheat production and potato production is. So we don't have any of the large-scale agriculture, but there's still small family farms in the part of the country that I live. So it's a nice place to be.
Yes. Nepal also should practice sustainable agriculture, I guess.
Nepal, I think the agriculture that's been practiced in Nepal is sustainable agriculture. Like I said, the land here has been farmed for hundreds, if not thousands of years. That's pretty sustainable, man. You know, compared to the United States, we've been there a couple hundred years, and we're facing similar challenges. You know, soil there is deteriorating as well with chemical inputs, and yeah, considering that the farmers have been living and working the same pieces of land for such a long time, that's really amazing and inspiring that they're still at it, still farming, you know, and that those systems are still working, and they're still getting the majority of their, you know, of their kodo, their rice, their vegetables are coming from their fields. And but things are changing, productivity is declining, and it's time, you know, we have to get with the program and change with the times.
So it was very nice talking to you. Last but not least, I just want to hear something, you know, a song or anything that you can speak in Nepali. You need to speak some Nepali, means.
Okay.
About people of place where you work, or how do the same question but in Nepali, right? How do you find the food? You can talk about the food and the place in Nepali. Please, man. Everyone would love to learn. They will be surprised to hear a guy from America speaking perfect Nepali in his sense.
Can I sing a little song?
Yeah, you can sing it, man. You have the liberty, man.
Najau pera awora ora timro matlu mero poko chara simsi me pani ma janle beman garcha ki jindan gani ma simsi me pani ma janle beman garcha ki jindan gani ma.
Wow, I'm overwhelmed. It's like, so you learn in the place where you work.
I learned actually.
Say that in Nepali, man, please. If you can, it'll be helpful.
Translate the meaning of the song.
No, you can. So where did you learn this?
Oh, in Nepali. Oh, okay. So यो गीत कता सिकेको होला तलिमले इन्डिकेरी म आएपछि काठमाडौँमा बसेको छु अनि तलिमले इन्डिकेरी भाषा सिक्दाखेरि गीत पनि सिक्नु पर्छ हैन र गीतहरू पनि सिक्नु पर्छ अनि यो गीत एकदम मन पर्यो अनि त्यही भएर आफै सुन्न मन लाग्छ आफै सिक्न मन लाग्छ पिस कोरको गुरुहरूलाई सिकाउनु भएको मलाई.
So let me also ask you question Nepali also, okay?
हुन्छ.
So हामी गेस्टहरूलाई रिक्वेस्ट गर्छौँ कि कुनै गाना बजाउन सक्छौँ कि भनेर.
हजुर.
सो तपाईको चोइसमा कुनै गाना छ भने जन हामी तपाईको लागि बजाउन सक्दछौँ कुनै गाना छ भने भन्नुहोस्
सिमसिमे पानीमा
यही सिमसिमे पानीमा बजाउँ
अनि सब गीत
कुन गीत
नेपाली गीत
नेपाली इङ्ग्लिस जुनै पनि
धेरै फरक किसिमको सिमसिमे पानीमा होइन र
अनि तपाईँ आफ्नो अङ्ग्रेजी पनि यु क्यान टेल इङ्ग्लिस सङ अल्सो तपाईँलाई लाग्छ कुनै
सिमसिमे पानीमा बजाउनुहोस् न
है
कुनै तरिकाले नयाँ तरिकाले कि पुरानो
जुनै तरिकाले भए पनि
तरिकाले
है तपाईँलाई म यो गीत हाम्रो टक सोको एन्डमा
हुन्छ
म बजाइदिन्छु है
सिमसिमे पानीमा
That's a good Nepali that you're speaking here, man. I guess the listeners would find it very, surprising. And on that note, we are coming to the end of the program, John. Thank you for your time and thought. And I hope you have a wonderful time here in Nepal. And I wish that you are granted the visa after the completion of your time so that you can share your expertise with the Nepalese people even on more facilities or more kind of subjects. So, yes, we were conversing with John from the Peace Corps from the United States, from North Carolina. And we always like to thank him personally and on the behalf of the Safalta FM team that he came here all the way from wherever he works and that he wants it to be kept separate. And on that note, I will meet you on the same time next week with a different guest. Till then, I want to say goodbye. Have a nice time. Bye-bye.
वातावरण सफाराको स्वस्थ बन्नलाई आगो बल्निसलाई चुरुट वनमा फाल्न हुन डरेलोली बन जल्दा कसको मन रुन्न आगो लागे वनमा सबै जीवन नाश हुन्छ सबै मिली वन जोगाए जीवको बास बढ्छ आगो निभाउ वन जोगाउ हजुर सामुदायिक वनमा नाच्ने छन् मजुर।
नेपाल सरकार सञ्चार तथा सूचना प्रविधि मन्त्रालय।
ओहो भाउजू ग्यास त साह्रै गनाएछ रेगुलेटर बन्द छैन कि क्या हो फेरि झ्यालडोका पनि सबै बन्द छन् झ्यालडोका खोलिहाल्नुस् त भाउजू।
त्यही त नानी ग्यास त प्राय यस्तै गनाइराख्छ रेगुलेटर बन्द गर्यो भने खोल्दा लुज हुन्छ भनेर बन्दै गरिदैन।
कहाँ त्यस्तो गर्न हुन्छ र भाउजू यो त एकदमै संवेदनशील चीज पो हो त हाम्रो सानो लापरवाहीले दुर्घटना पनि हुन सक्छ त्यसैले भाउजू ग्यासको प्रयोग गर्दा निकै विचार पुर्याउनु पर्छ। अर्को कुरा नि भाउजू हामीले ग्यास बाली राखेर अन्य कामहरू गर्छौं त्यसले एउटातिर ग्यास छिटो सकिन्छ भने अर्कोतिर बच्चाहरूले चलायो भने आगजनी पनि हुन सक्छ। अनि ग्यास बाल्ने बेलामा झ्यालडोका पनि पुरै खुल्ला राख्नुपर्छ के भाउजू।
ग्यास अत्यन्तै संवेदनशील पदार्थ हो, त्यसैले ग्यास प्रयोग गर्दा सचेत बनौ। नेपाल सरकारद्वारा तोकिएको ग्यास लिक्विड मूल्य 1400 भन्दा बढी नतिरौं। यदि सो मूल्य भन्दा बढी ल्याएको खण्डमा सम्बन्धित निकायमा सम्पर्क गरौं। सम्पर्कका लागि 9856 35394।
गृहलक्ष्मी ग्यास कम्पनी प्राइभेट लिमिटेड, पोखरा लेखनाथ महानगरपालिका 32 गगनगौडा।
सम्पर्क फोन नम्बर 061 560 277 061 20